A woman gently opened the curtains and was immediately met with a terrifying sight outside. A blinding light, moving at supersonic speed, plummeted from the sky. In an instant, the entire building began to tremble violently under the force of a powerful shockwave. The window glass shattered into countless pieces, leaving the room in complete disarray. In a state of panic, the woman scrambled to the floor and grabbed her phone. Just then, another powerful sound wave hit, causing the woman to stumble. Regaining her balance, she quickly put on her sneakers and dashed out the door. By this time, her neighbors were also flooding the hallway, all rushing towards the elevator. Seeing this, the woman wanted to warn them not to use it. Too dangerous in such a situation. But before she could say anything, a massive crack appeared on the wall, accompanied by the heart-wrenching screams of people inside. Terrified, the woman ran to the balcony and looked outside. The sky was filled with meteorites falling like a rainstorm, crashing furiously onto the ground. She turned back quickly and joined others as they tried to escape down the stairs. However, the stairwell was already jam-packed, and before she could react, a powerful force knocked her to the ground, disorienting her completely. When she came to her senses, she sprinted back up and returned to the balcony, only to see the world outside turned upside down by explosions. She glanced down. Thankfully, it wasn't too high, so she leaped off the balcony, landing on a wrecked car. Just as she caught her breath, another woman blocked her path. Her child was trapped in the car, and she pleaded for help. Despite their efforts, they couldn't open the car door. At that moment, the woman's boyfriend arrived. He motioned for the women to step back, then smashed the car window with 2 punches, rescuing the trapped child. Grabbing the woman's hand, the boyfriend ran towards the street, but they had no idea where safety was. They could only follow the panicking crowd. After a few steps, a blinding light smashed into the ground, sending a massive shockwave that swept towards them. Fortunately, the two managed to find shelter behind a tall building. But then, the wall cracked open suddenly, and before the woman could react, her boyfriend pushed her aside. The next moment, he was buried under the collapsing building. Stunned, the woman barely had time to process what happened when a speeding van came out of nowhere, slamming into her and sending her flying meters away. She fell unconscious on the ground. Luckily, the elderly couple driving the van were good Samaritans. They rushed out of the vehicle and tried to lift her into the car, but their old age made it difficult. A drunken passerby eventually helped them place her in the car, and they sped towards a bridge, desperate to escape the chaos. Just then, an out-of-control bus swerved onto the bridge, nearly colliding with their car. The elderly driver managed to avoid it in the nick of time, and the bumpy ride brought the woman back to consciousness. She looked back and saw the towering skyscrapers crumbling under the impact of the meteor shower. Fear gripped everyone in the car. The road was filled with cars speeding like frightened horses, showing no signs of slowing down. Suddenly, a jackknifed semi-truck blocked the road ahead, forcing the elderly couple to stop. With no other choice, they got out of the car and started walking. Buildings around them began to sway precariously. Despite the woman's pleas, the elderly man went back to the car, determined to save his cat. In a split second, the collapsing building buried the couple under its rubble. The woman barely had time to escape into another building when yet another shockwave roared towards her. Standing amidst the ruins of the city, she looked around. What was once a bustling metropolis had turned into a wasteland.